Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. My name is Danny De Lillo and we're here at the South Park Center, and I'm here with Kathryn with her movie Deaf Latinos y Familias. Let's take a look at the clip.
Can I leave my bag in? I like to climb down here, but
Kathryn, thank you so much for being here and thank you so much for your documentary. For those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis of your story.
Yeah, so the documentary follows three families who, three moms specifically, who found a lack of resources for ASL being taught in Spanish, and so instead of just stopping there, they decided to start their own organization and have classes for ASL in Spanish and English.
It's amazing. Like, I was so inspired and touched by these incredible mothers who did this for their children, but then did so much just to help the community as well. I mean, what an amazing story.
Yeah.
And such amazing inspirations they are. Where did it start for you in deciding to make a documentary about it?
So at the time I was also working at this organization called MeToo, and all of their content there is Latino focused. And so I just was doing research and I realized there wasn't a lot of ASL content in Spanish, and so I'm local, I'm from here, and so I was just looking at organizations in the area, and that one came up, and Irma, the president at the time who started it, she was just so welcoming, and we met, and just seeing her like host this in her backyard with so many people coming, it's just I wanted more people to know about this. So.
It was so special,
yeah.
and it was so amazing because they had the most incredible children as well, and just seeing how their families were, the trials and tribulations they'd been through. Obviously you had three amazing subjects in your documentary. Like, how did you come about meeting these three brilliant, women and families and children, and how did that process start for you in terms of filming?
Yeah, so I met with Irma and Evelyn originally, and we just sat down and talked for about 3 hours. And
Good
they,
start.
yeah, and they just kind of opened up about a lot of trials again that they had faced, and just that how many years they'd gone with just trying to communicate with their children and get like their husbands to communicate with their children, and just how difficult that process had been, and I came kind of at a time where a lot of that was shifting, and so they welcomed me into their families. I'm really grateful for that.
It was really heartbreaking to feel that some of these mothers were just, particularly the moms, were just looking for a role model that was Latino and that happened to be deaf, and how limited that was, and how hard. And you just thought, my goodness me, this shouldn't be this difficult for them to find, good, amazing role models. So, creating this community, I mean, surely when you were filming that, you thought, wow, this is something really special.
Yeah, and just as a hearing person too, that was another level where I learned a lot through the project of just what their children go through on a daily basis, and so I was glad to be welcomed into that world as well.
Yeah, I mean, I so happen to have got quite a few friends that so happen to be deaf, and I just, you don't realize sometimes what one goes through, what a family may go through, like you say, even just kind of the communication with some of the fathers and how they have their different kind of struggles. As mums, I feel just hands-on, will just do whatever they can for their children, but men, fathers, gone into different things, or maybe not been as supportive as they should. And I love that there was some sort of recognition to say, you know what, I have not done as good in myself and I want to do better. Was that something really wonderful to capture on camera? Because I found that beautiful from both the parents.
Yeah, like Evelyn and Wilson, they are just one of my favorite families. I still see them all the time, and just to have like Wilson be so vulnerable with me about some of the challenges he had and not maybe being as happy with how he handled things, and then taking this step to learn ASL and communicate with his son and change their relationship was really special.
Now, what's also so amazing as well, when you have something that is so heartwarming, so real, and seeing the absolute struggles that, you know, families have had to go through, and you're there as a filmmaker, are you sometimes taken back by just what you're experiencing, what you're hearing, and how does that work for you as a director?
Yeah, and I guess I come from newspaper world and with photojournalism, and part of that world is just so fast paced, and I feel like I wasn't always able to give that protectiveness to all the images I took before. So for this one, I really wanted to take my time with it to make sure that everyone felt like they were represented correctly.
Yeah. I think there was a moment in the film, which if you haven't seen it, just put your fingers in your ears. But there's a moment in the film where you had, you know, the wonderful, children that, you know, were deaf, and you had this silence, you know, which you gave to your audience. And I think that just was just a very, very, very clear insight to what they experienced, and I thought was really powerful, as you know, simple of an element it is to take the sound out. But was that something you really kind of wanted to instill with your audience, to really give them a moment to sort of encapsulate what this could feel like?
Yeah, and that was just room tone, so that's just what it sounded like. And even at the lessons in the evening in Irma's backyard, it would just be mostly silent, and it would be full of like 40 people, and it was just silent. So.
A great experience, yeah.
Yeah.
Taking that into account also as well, like, what did you learn from this, and also what did you want your audience to take from it as well? That's more helpful.
I really wanted them to see the strength of these mothers and how much they were just willing to fight for their children despite everything, and just like people shouldn't underestimate any of these mothers, because they're just starting this big, huge change in ASL culture. So.
Yeah, and just the fact that this is, you know, I think not everyone there are people out there that may actually need to know about this, or may need support, or may need educating, and I'm so glad that this, you know, community exists, because it's very important, you know, and there's many people out there that maybe don't know what to do, and here is these mothers who have created this for their children and for other children. I think is remarkable. What's it like bringing it out to an audience? Kind of what's that experience been like for you?
Yeah, actually it was really special showing it to the families and getting their response, and I did a little screening for people who were
nice.
Close to them.
Yeah.
And that was so special, because just seeing the response of people being like, wow, like I didn't realize what was going on in your life, and people close to them, and for them to have that recognition, that was like one of my favorite times. It's just being able to show them.
Without them, we couldn't have done. I think the one most amazing thing is, I know it's kind of a cliche thing to say, but just the love of what you have for your child, and how much the length you'll go to improve their life. And I thought, what an inspiration, you know, those moms are, and how wonderful their kids are. Like, I was like, wow, I was like, you know, where they may feel they're not, you know, there's certain things in life that they weren't given, they have such wonderful personalities and such great offering to the world. And I think that's something that you probably felt really was showcased in the film as well.
Yeah, and Saida, one of the other mothers, just her journey of just coming here from El Salvador to like want, just like her only goal was just to get her son to a doctor that would help him here, and just like that story was just.
Yeah, it was powerful. It was really, really powerful.
Yeah.
What is next for you?
So I'm currently at USC. I'm about to graduate with my master's degree.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so I've been working on my thesis project there, and I'm hoping to DP and direct more projects. So.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously you're very early in your, you know, long journey of a career thus far. But obviously going into your thesis film, I'm sure there's many people out there that will be going into their thesis films and student filmmakers that want to go out there in the big wide world. What do you go by as a filmmaker that maybe you could share with an audience for anyone out there that would like to follow in your footsteps?
I think what's been really helpful for me is to find good collaborators and find people that, because for me filmmaking is like very vulnerable, and I can get insecure about it, and so like finding good collaborators that support me through the process, and just like we can all come together to try to make something great that we all believe in. So.
Well, I mean, you have to keep making your films, and it was, your film was extremely powerful, and I think should be seen by a very, very wide audience. But I think certainly was a blessing to have, particularly in the community of Los Angeles as well. So thank you very much, Kathryn.
Thank you.
Kathryn Boyd, thank you very much.